Jamar Perkins. It's crunch time. It's crunch time here, live in the studios of Austin Peay. Zach Peay, joined as always by Reese Britt and Jamar Perkins. Jamar, happy to have you back, buddy. You're not on the road anymore. I'm sure your trip was, although it didn't end the way you wanted it to, at least it was a good trip, right?
Yeah, no, it was nice. Florida, man, we got some nice weather.
Especially right now. I mean,
they got some nice weather down there. It was definitely nice to be there. Obviously, unfortunate to see 2 losses from the women's basketball team. But other than that, It was nice. Reese, how was your weekend?
It was good. We actually we were in the same spot, man. We were in Florida.
Yeah, we're both in Florida. I was jealous.
Too,
I didn't
yeah.
get the memo,
Orlando.
so I couldn't join you guys in that. No, that's what it is.
when we were flying out of Orlando yesterday, we saw the men's basketball team coming into Orlando because I think they play Stetson maybe tonight or tomorrow night.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow
okay.
night. They play
so,
Stetson tomorrow night.
Yeah, we actually saw them, and we exchanged pleasantries, whatever.
I was gonna say, was there any kind of exchange, or is this
Uh,
golf and basketball team not really they don't vibe together?
Yeah,
was it a
really
positive
don't,
exchange?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was positive. Listen,
Did
I
you
don't
go up like this?
I was
Did
about
you do this?
No, I wasn't about to swing on any of them. All right, they'd get the best of me in that one. But no, it was good. We played well as a team down there. We finished 7th, and then individually I carded a top 10. So whatever.
Hey, congrats, man.
I don't think I ever get a chance to say this. I love doing this show with you guys. Thank you for that. We're going to be talking about throwing hands in a second. My weekend was good, guys. I got a chance to hear Jamar call a game. I got a chance to watch a really great Elimination Chamber for WWE. And honest truth, it's been a wild ride so far. So let's get straight into it, guys. Quick congratulations to the APSU baseball team for getting Coach Fanning's first win over the weekend. They beat Illinois State on Saturday. And that was a great job. Although they lost the series, they did get the win, but they're now 2-2 on the season, and they seem like they're gonna have a pretty rough road, unfortunately, as we look at that as well. But I want to get straight into APSU men's basketball. The men's basketball team's 9-20 overall record and a 3-13 conference record. We've already talked about their 11-game losing streak, right?
Yeah.
Well, they were on an 11-game losing streak until they won Saturday over North Florida, following their final game at the Dunn Center. They look to keep this winning streak alive Thursday on the road against Stinson. Let's talk about this game, shall we? First off, Clarksville Now reported this as the final game to be played in the Dunn Center. That is not true. The final game to be played in the Dunn Center is going to be Saturday for the women's basketball team against Lipscomb from Nashville. So that is the final game of the Dunn Center. So that's the first thing I have a problem with this story. The second thing is the game against North Florida ended really weird. It's a technical foul, putting on the Governors up by 2 at the end of the game to win them 73-71. For those that don't know or haven't seen the reports yet this week,
I'm sure they have.
The Governors basketball team was
have.
brawling on the court after North Florida had a player tackle a fellow player. You guys want to talk about this more? I'm going to kick this to you guys. Either you or Jamar take it from me real quick.
Honestly,
I've got a statement that I want to bring up and read, but I want to wait on that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't really know too much about it. I just know, coming down for the last few seconds, we had a guy dribbling down the court on a fast break. He goes up for a layup or a dunk of some sort, and the guy kind of like undercuts him, and then a brawl just happens at that basket right in front of the AD, right in front of the president, everybody. And then, once that happens, they kind of get it settled a little bit, and then I just see North Florida take off for their locker room, and then I kind of put 2 and 2 together. Well, they're brawling in the locker room.
Yeah, they brawled outside the locker rooms as well.
Right, because that hallway connects back there. So it's just crazy. I mean, the last men's basketball game in the Dunn Center, and that's the way it ends.
At least it ended with the W. I mean, that's a good thing.
That's
a
good point.
At least it ended with the W.
But it's pretty fitting for how this team's played all year to have a successful final game in the Dunn Center and then back it up with a fight. Like that's
Could you
ridiculous.
imagine ending that game with a loss and fighting?
Oh man, I mean, it would have been bad.
It changes everything, the whole demeanor of it.
I mean, you look at it too. You kind of breaking down the play. He wasn't just going for a dunk. He was going for a self alley-oop. He caught the ball, bounced it on the ground, and shot the.
I forgot about that.
And so it's two different. You can look at it from two different sides. Trying to end the last game with a bang, or when you talk about
13 seconds left.
Come on, man. Like you
Could be
don't.
frustration.
13 seconds left.
And you talk about it too.
Could be frustration.
When you look at the guy from North Florida, honestly, it didn't. I mean, it wasn't. We've seen a lot worse fouls in terms of the transition. He did not blatantly push him. He literally tried to go up and stop him to get a block, which fighting to the buzzer. I can't be mad at the North Florida guy.
Can't.
And then you can talk about players leaving Austin Peay's bench. Like, you're not supposed to do that. And that's why we're seeing some of these suspensions when you talk about what we're going through, too. And I'll let you go, Zach. Let's have some.
No, I was gonna say, you're talking about suspensions and stuff. I know that we've suspended some players. I don't think there's anything that's come down from the ASUN from that I've been reading the last 2 days.
The ASUN, they suspended Carlos Paez, Cameron Copeland, and Kamari Coffey, all for 1 game. And Austin Peay has went ahead and added a suspension, and they're going to do Kamari Coffey. They're going to do the 2nd game as well. So Kamari Coffey was suspended 1 game. But
anything on North Florida at all?
North Florida, Jonathan Abar,
the player that tackled Copeland,
the one that committed the foul. Okay. He's the one who's suspended.
It took the refs 20 minutes to figure this all out, to stop it, to get it all done. It took him 20 extra minutes. Guys, that's a whole half. That's a whole half of the game. Yeah. Like, it took him a whole another half to stop this for this final thing.
And they don't get paid enough to have to deal with that. They really don't.
They don't. They don't.
They have a hard enough job as it is.
I do want to mention the ADs.
I have one more thing too.
Go ahead. Go for it. I want to mention the ADs thing after that real quick.
One thing to say too. Talk about Austin Peay. Yeah, I mean they're done. They're not making it to the playoffs. They have 2 more games. Yeah. North Florida, they beat Eastern Kentucky tonight, and they or tomorrow, whenever the game is. They clinched the playoffs. You talk about Jonathan Abar. That's one of their top players. Yeah. Now he's not playing because of that fight. So it's like they had something to fight for. Now, thankfully, it was only one player for North Florida that's getting suspended. But you talk about that. They actually, when you're in a situation like that, I know you want to fight back, which you kind of saw. People were kind of on Twitter like Jonathan Abar didn't get any backup from his team.
Right, no, he didn't.
But
he didn't.
If they do get backup, then they're getting suspended. So it's like you kind of have to look at it from 2 different sides.
And let's take a second of that. I want to read the statement, then, and I want to ask you guys a question after that. Statement from Austin Peay's Vice President, Director of Athletics, Gerald Harrison, said this. I am disappointed with the behavior at the conclusion of today's game with North Florida. Our student athletes are held to a higher standard, and tonight's behavior does not represent the total Gov concept. Austin Peay and the ASUN Conference take pride in sportsmanship. That didn't happen today. We will work with the ASUN Conference to determine the appropriate path forward and respond accordingly. That was his statement following the game, directly after that happened. My thing is this. We've all played competitive sports. One of us playing competitive sports right now. Mm-hmm. So if I saw a teammate go through this, I'm getting up. I don't care. If my fellow teammate is tackled and it's going down, and I know it's a bad thing, I'm getting up and I'm helping him out. Yeah. Right? I'm breaking up the fight at least. I might not be throwing punches, but I'm at least getting everybody separated and getting it done. Right? Because there's a thing that happens in that type of atmosphere. Granted, different type of sport that I played compared to basketball. Yeah. You've played basketball. If that happens on the court to one of your friends, one of your teammates, one of your buddies that you've been playing with the entire season with, are you doing that? Are you going in and acting like that, or are you just calling it kind of quits on that section and letting them duke it out?
That's a tough question.
I know it's a tough question. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll say that I'm throwing hands, man. That's my brother,
Exactly.
But if I'm sitting on the bench, I think it's a different story. If I'm sitting on the bench, it's a different story because I know that's like a serious thing in basketball. Is like leaving your bench. Yeah. So I'm gonna count on the brothers on the court. Right. You talk about Austin Peay. Right. Like it seemed the players, like you talk about Kamari Coffey. I feel like there was some other players on the sideline too. Players on the sideline rushed more than the players on the court. It looked like.
Absolutely.
So it's like.
Absolutely, no, you're right.
You can't have that.
You made a good point earlier about like Austin Peay they have nothing to lose. Like, none of the players on that on the bench or on the court had anything to lose.
No.
North Florida. That's maybe why you saw a little bit of hesitancy there because it's like, well, are we going to get a suspension?
Yeah.
I know my brother's going through that, but the guys on the court, like they're the refs are taking care of it, everything like that. So it was just very interesting. The whole ordeal. I've never seen something like that at our level,
especially after everything else that's going on around the rest of this week for our university. It was just weirdly timing that all kind of happened.
ESPN, Barstool Sports, which shout out my guy Barry Gresham.
Actually, shout out.
He made,
Hey, I do want to shout out sideline reporter Austin Peay. Let me find this Twitter handle real quick, man. Sidelines Austin Peay has been going nuts on Twitter for the Austin Peay Governors about this situation. And if he happens to be listening to our show, he or she, whoever's over that account, thank you. Yeah. Although I feel that some of your opinions may be a little biased, because you're definitely pro gov, and you're not looking at both sections. It seems like I will respect it for defending a team that doesn't usually get the defense. So thank you for that. But I got to move on, man. APSU women's basketball, 15-10 overall record, 10-5 in the conference, 4th in the ASUN, coming off a 3-game losing streak right now from Florida, losing to Stetson on Thursday, 53-48, and 55-42 against FGCU on Saturday. Jamar, they're coming back Thursday, playing in Nashville against Lipscomb. Tell me what you got on this.
I mean, a tough game. This is a rough. I mean, you talking about a 3-game stretch. Talking about FGCU, we lost there, and now we play Lipscomb twice. Lipscomb's, they're ahead of us in the conference. That just shows how good they are. But I think they're a team that Osby can beat. And you talk about implications as far as the playoffs. We need to win at least one of these games to stay the 4th seed. But if we can manage to beat Lipscomb both times, there's a great chance we get that 3rd seed. Because one good thing about Lipscomb's schedule is they still have to play Florida Gulf Coast again. Although they do play at
Wednesday,
home,
right?
I think it's like next Wednesday they're going to play.
And Austin Peay's done after Saturday.
And Austin Peay is done. I don't know if you want to announce that.
Yeah, no game on Saturday, or no game March 1st, Wednesday, March 1st against Central Arkansas. Central Arkansas has now just canceled the rest of their season. They're done. They quit.
When we played them, I believe they had 7 players.
Yeah, they didn't have
and that's just a struggle. And honestly, I'm a little. It's like I'm torn between because I was really hoping for Austin Peay. I thought that was a great game to kind of like dominate and walk in the playoffs. You're right. Now you're going against a tough Lipscomb game, which on Saturday, which
we've seen this team go both ways with that. So with tough games, my question to you is, what is the biggest thing they have to worry about on Thursday going into Nashville? Not just obviously Lipscomb has a crowd. Lipscomb gets people coming in. But it's not just that. What on that team is going to be the trouble spot against the Governors? In my question, I know they got some bigs. I know they've got some shooters and stuff like that. You know, they can play defense.
I think what they're going to do good. When you talk about FGCU, they hit 5 threes against us. They lead the country in 3-point makes and attempts, and we held them to 5 threes. That's with Austin Peay's game. They are a great perimeter defense, and that's what Lipscomb likes to do. They like to shoot 3 ball. So I really think Austin Peay has a good chance against this team because I think we can shut down their threes. And you're right. I think Lipscomb, they might have a good crowd. You know, you talk about their sports. I think they have a pretty decent support.
It's Nashville, man.
It's probably better than Austin Peay women's basketball support, but that's a totally different conversation. But I'm excited.
I am too, and it's the last stand or
they're calling it the last waltz.
The last waltz game on Saturday. I like it. I mean, it's not bad. Senior Day, I think, is Saturday too now, or it was originally Saturday.
Which we're honoring
and it's Red Day. It's also a Red Out Day as well on Saturday. So a lot of things happening for the Govs on the Saturday game.
Wear your red, Zach.
I'm gonna be wearing my suit.
You didn't wear your pink.
I'm gonna be wearing.
You're wearing a suit.
I'm gonna be wearing my suit. Yeah, I'm gonna suit up. I'm gonna suit up.
I might suit up.
Only red I got though is like ties and stuff. So I might be. I have
a red tie that has like little Santas on it, but you can't see the Santas on the tie, so I'm gonna still wear it. You know?
No, it works. It works. All right. So with that being said, let's move on to college basketball. Top 10, the AP poll is where I got this from. Houston at number 1 right now. Alabama at number 2. Kansas at number 3. UCLA at number 4. Purdue at number 5. Virginia at number 6. 7 is going to be Arizona. Texas at number 8. Baylor at number 9. And Marquette moves up to 10 after Tennessee has an interesting weekend against Kentucky and a couple other teams. Yeah. Tennessee, though, stayed at 11, so it's not the worst thing. And Bama fell to 2 as well. So let's be honest, it's not just Tennessee falling, Bama fell as well. So you got more on this, right?
I do. Yeah, Bama fell to number 2 because Tennessee beat them on Tuesday. Last Tuesday, I guess that was when Bama traveled to Thompson Bowling. Tennessee then, in turn, on Saturday losing to Kentucky, lost last night to Texas A&M. So I mean, they've struggled.
Is heartbreaking.
It is, yeah.
I was here watching it.
The last Rick Barnes has never I don't even know how you say this, but he's always beaten Kentucky at least one time a year, if not twice, and he's lost both this year. Wow. So
hey, maybe if they make the tournament and Kentucky makes the tournament, and that's who you end up playing.
SEC tournament.
SEC tournament too. You're right about that. Yeah.
Some of the best basketball games in SEC history have been Tennessee Kentucky SEC basketball tournament.
I can believe it.
That's facts.
I can believe it.
I love it.
You had some more on the Alabama situation, right?
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the Brandon Miller situation. He's kind of connected to the Darius Miles incident where Darius Miles, he unfortunately allegedly killed somebody.
You can't say he did, unfortunately.
But
it's looking like signs point that direction.
It's not looking good for him.
It's allegedly for now.
Yeah, Darius Miles is off the team and everything. So, but according to a lot of sources, Brandon Miller was the one that gave Darius Miles the gun that took somebody's life. So. That's
what is going on after the NIL deals. All of a sudden, college athletes have just changed. It's become a new world.
Yeah,
what is happening?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And Brandon Miller is probably the best basketball player in the country. He's going to be a lottery draft pick. Don't know where that's going to be, but in the lottery, but probably top 5. Probably top 5.
Top 5.
That's what I'm saying.
It's kind of ridiculous. When you look at the top 5, only one of them is like a college basketball player. Because you look at G League, you look at Victor Wembanyama, and it's like that's where they're getting a lot of these picks. Yeah. Like you talk about Scoot Henderson, and they got the Thompson twin brothers. They're also one of the top 5 picks as well.
If this actually goes into fruition, where this player, this young man is convicted of the crime of murdering somebody, that changes everything drastically for this kid's life and this guy's life, and it kills me, and no pun intended on that, that we're hearing about an athlete that's doing this kind of stuff right now. So yeah, you guys can crack up. It's okay. You can laugh at my bad joke. I know it's terrible, but it's a terrible choice of words. It happens. Okay?
But the evidence against him is pretty damning. I mean, you've got
we say that, but what is it? The guys are suspended, right? He's not playing.
No, Brandon Miller is still playing.
Yeah. What?
They've said. I mean, he hasn't done anything wrong according to some sources.
It wasn't like he was necessarily an accessory to murder.
Right.
I mean, we need Doc V in this room for that.
We do need Doc V in this room for that one. You're right. Doc V in his law knowledge would be invaluable for this conversation. I will say that. Anything else on that before I move on? I want to ask you if you got anything else because it's just such a unique thing.
It is, yeah. Darius Miles texted Brandon Miller, where do you have the firearm? And then Brandon Miller texted back, the whereabouts of the gun and how the setup is, like the bullets in the chamber, like it's ready to be, it's ready to be fired. So, and that's all in text. I mean, literally, that is in text message. And it's like that's just not the way. It's just not really the way to do it if you were. But that's for another story. Yeah, for another story.
How did you trying to say? No, I'm messing with you.
I know. I mean, like
there's a Netflix show that talks about that.
How to Get Away with Murder? They should have been watching that.
Let's go.
That's not okay. I shouldn't have said that.
It's. I mean, hey, people talk about all the time how people are watching cold cases and stuff like that and figuring out how to get away with stuff. So let's be honest with that for a little while. There's those types of people that take that in consideration.
We're gonna get this canceled.
We are. It's been a very interesting day
because we can't report on anything.
No, it is. We're going to stick to sports. We're going to move on to NBA news and standings. This is going to be. Hey, I told you it's going to be a fun show. Standings right now in the East, we got the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers, the Cavs, Nets, Knicks, Heat, and Hawks, with the Wizards and Raptors rounding out the top 10. In the West, we have the Nuggets, Grizzlies, Kings, Clippers, Suns, Mavericks, Pelicans, Timberwolves, Warriors, and Thunder. I want to first, before we get into the standings and talk about teams, right? First, I want to congratulate Mac McClung.
McClung.
Okay, I want to make sure I say that right. Mac made the dunk contest actually worthwhile to watch. And now I want to see it happen again. I just want to watch him do it again. I want to watch him go again because that was great to witness.
Yeah, I mean, to see. He's now an NBA player because he got the two-way contract with the
Phoenix
Thunder.
Thunder? Is it with Thunder?
I thought it was Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, we're all different. We're all different. Yeah, it's one of the PH teams. Yes.
I apologize, Crunchtime fans. The 76ers. But
yes.
When you talk about him, I mean, he got picked up from the G League, and you're right. He saved the dunk contest. If you take him out, that was probably the worst dunk contest in history. And it was kind of sucks that he didn't really have strong competition. I mean, you talk about Trey Murphy for the Pelicans. He has bounce, but his dunks weren't very creative.
No, they weren't.
And Mac McClung, I mean, great dunker. I wish the best for him. Actually playing career because I mean, I don't want him to just be known for the guy in the dunk contest. I would like for him to establish himself as a name far as a good player in the league.
Right.
He was the only name that I knew in the dunk contest, and that's not really.
It's not great.
That's not how it's been in the past.
Nope.
But shout out Gate City, Virginia. That's where he's from. I watched him play in high school, and he can fill it up. Yeah, he can fill it up.
How many dunks did he get that game?
I want to say like 3, maybe.
He wasn't hopping yet. But he was hopping a little.
He's a very underrated shot creator. He creates his shot really well. Now this was high school, mind you, but still, he was. He could get to the high post, spot up, float over a guy, and knock out a shot.
He's one of the top players in the G League too, which saying that is impressive. So I'm definitely glad he has a chance with Philly.
Absolutely. We've got a couple of players that we got to talk about real quick, and then I want to talk about something that was said by the King himself. Bulls Lonzo Ball is now going to be out for the season due to a knee injury, and that's to me it's another Bulls player that's out for a knee injury, and that it's just. Oh, it's bad to hear. Yeah. So I hate to hear that for him in his season. Hopefully he can bounce back on the offseason and come back from that. I don't know if he will because it's been happening while he's been going through actual full workouts of with the team. So Westbrook's going to sign to the Clippers as well. By the way, I don't know if you guys have read that, but he is signed with the Clippers. I think that's a good pickup for the Clippers because it's somewhere where he wants to go. He stays in LA and all that. Yeah. And Kyrie Irving is loving his time in Dallas. I mean, if you look at him and Luka together, it's just it's a bromance. It's so cool, man. It's I hated the trade because and you could see that even Irving wasn't excited about the trade. But at the same time, now it looks like they're getting along. It looks like the team's going well. But the last thing I want to say about basketball, and I want to kick it to you guys and see what you guys think about this. LeBron James comes out and says it's not in his DNA to miss playoffs twice in a row. Will the Lakers even make it this year? I know that the standings are a little bit looser where they're at, but let's be realistic for a second. First off, I don't like that comment. I know you don't like that comment, right?
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, when you first read that we're going to talk about this, I was like, we might need to take a DNA test. But I mean, when you look at it though,
he does need to take one.
I mean, the West is so tight. You talk about it's about like a 3-game span between where the Lakers are and the 6th seed. So when you talk about what they need to do in the second half, they have a whole second half. Well, a little less than a second half of basketball to play. But I think LeBron and the Lakers, I think they can really do some things like that. D'Angelo Russell and Jared Vanderbilt, which I think is an underrated piece in that trade as far as his defense.
He did.
I think that they can actually do some things in the second half. And when you talk about some teams ahead of them, I mean, you look at the Thunder. You talk about Timberwolves, Pelicans. I think those are teams the Lakers can beat. And
what about your Warriors right now are 29-29, man.
You saw I skipped over them.
No, I did because it's your Warriors. So I wanted to make. I mentioned it. Does Curry come back in time from that injury to really help them push farther up in seeding?
I don't know.
I know he'll be ready for playoffs. Let's be face it. He'll be ready for playoffs.
They do it every year.
I'm not going to be surprised if we're in a play-in game. They're playing games. I won't be surprised.
I mean, with Curry, that's not the worst thing to happen, to be honest, because you could knock off a number 1 or number 2 seed at that point in time, right?
Yeah.
So,
which I mean, we could beat the Grizzlies. Grizzlies are a 2 seed. Let us mess around and get that 7 seed. I guarantee you, Warriors are beating the Grizzlies.
Don't threaten me like that. That's
wow.
rude, man. That's like shots. And I'm just messing with you.
Hey,
you could probably beat the Grizzlies because they're looking rough right now.
Ever
they're not
since
looking
the Shannon
great.
Sharp incident,
they're not looking good. They're still winning games, but they're not looking good.
I'm going to stay over here in the Eastern Conference. But anyways, hey, Terry Taylor, shout out him. Just signed with the Chicago Bulls.
Did he really?
Did you see him? Talk about how he's leading the Eastern Conference too?
Yes, Zach, we're good. We're a regular season basketball club, man. We get it.
I didn't know that. Shout out Terry Taylor.
Shout out Terry Taylor. Sorry,
not 6 hours ago, he just signed a 2-way contract with the Bulls.
Hey, that's great. I mean, it's probably helping replace Lonzo.
Is it a 10-day or is it's going to be long?
It says 2-way, but I mean, I can read a little bit into this, and if we keep going, I
wanted him to go to the Warriors, but
I mean,
it's fine.
Yeah. Anything else on basketball right now? Anybody got anything else they want to talk about in the NBA before I move on?
I'm a little bored right now. All-Star break. I went to go find some basketball yesterday, and there's not any. But you kind of make me there's another sport that I've been kind of watching instead of basketball, but I see that's a little later in the rundown. So
They're coming up.
Bringing up my time, yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So let me get into this NFL news stuff right now. We're going to take a look around the division and stuff like that for each week. We're going to try to take each division in the NFL right now and kind of look and see what they need. Kind of talk about some news stuff as well, and just in general anything that's been going on with the NFL. Today, this week's is going to be the NFC East because I had a typo in our lovely rundown because I don't know any information half the time. But I want to talk about the NFC East. Let's talk about the Giants, Commanders, Cowboys, and Eagles. The Giants look to sign Daniel Jones to possibly a $35 million extension. He wants $45 million. Commanders sign OC Eric Bieniemy. Congratulations to that. That's a great signing. Cowboys, will they finally trade Zeke? And can the Eagles even repeat or go back is the question right now. So let's start with the Giants. Do you sign Daniel Jones to $35 million?
I mean, I think you do. At least you try and negotiate because he wants 40 to 45.
He wants 45 for sure.
They're gonna pay somewhere in the neighborhood of 38 to 41.
Okay.
They're gonna negotiate it down a little bit, but they're not gonna get him at 35. I can tell you that much.
Does that signing put the Giants to be the number 1 team? No.
Not even close.
In that division.
Not even close.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They need so much more help for that team right now. And I understand signing a guy that you know is reliable, but for $35 million,
and it's not even 35. They're going to pay him more, so it's even more outrageous than the 35 that we have on our paper.
We'll circle back to the Commanders, but I want to come to you for this.
What'd you say?
I was going to switch over to the Cowboys, but you got some of the Giants. We can talk about them too.
I mean, Danny Dimes, you're right. Danny he's not going to. Yeah, I'm going to chop it. He's not going to get his team to be, the number 1 team in the NFC.
He's the
just by himself. But he's a good quarterback. I mean, he's solid. He's proven to be a 2-way as far as being able to run the football.
That was this season,
which that's a premium. I mean, in this league today, having a quarterback with legs is a premium.
It's no longer a guy that sits in the pocket that's 6'7" and throws the ball.
No. And so with a player like him, I mean, why not build him? I mean, how old is he? Y'all know about the age range?
Mid-20s, maybe late 20s.
He's not super old. I'd say maybe take a couple chances on. I mean, it's not like the quarterback draft is elite this year. I mean, you got a couple maybe, but what?
He's got a great pedigree of quarterbacks he's been trained from. Like he had the same mentor that the Mannings had, same mentor that I believe Eli had actually. So that's the reason why the Giants took such a big step on him and drafted him in the first place.
Saquon Barkley too,
7th overall.
Saquon's going to get tagged. I think. I don't think Saquon's. I don't think that's. But let's look at the let's look at the Cowboys. They trading Zeke. I think they are. I think Zeke's done.
Tony Pollard's a starting running back in this league.
Should be.
I mean,
he is, yeah, but I mean, you've paid Zeke so much. I don't know who's going to take that contract. I really don't.
I know plenty of teams that are dumb enough to take that contract.
God, I just hope it's not the Commanders. I hope it's not
Arizona, Cleveland, Houston, Kansas City will even take that contract probably because they like taking everybody's running backs. I don't understand it.
Well, they win.
I mean, Melvin Gordon didn't do a single thing. He got a ring this year.
I mean, they win, but it is what it is.
I don't have much time left, so we're gonna move on. I think the Eagles and themselves can have a chance to opportunity repeat, but they've got to redo their OC and their DC, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing with the Commanders. I think the Commanders have a lot of work to do, but I think if they can get some O-line help in there and some wide receiver although they got good wide receivers. Sorry, they got good wide receivers. I think another really good wide receiver like Terry would help you guys out a lot.
Yeah.
And push you in the next direction. But I think your OC is going to make that change. Let's talk about the XFL. We don't have a lot of time to cover this, but a lot of former NFL and college stars showed out in the XFL this weekend. I do have a list of those players. Vic Beasley from the Falcons plays for the Vipers now. A.J. McCarron. You guys remember A.J. McCarron, the Alabama quarterback? He plays for he played for the Bengals. Now he's with the Battlehawks. Josh Gordon for the Sea Dragons. He played for the Browns and the Titans eventually. Martavius Bryant, Steelers. And he's with the Vipers now. Brett Hundley with the Packers. Paxton Lynch, that used to play with the Broncos. Josh Gordon. Yeah, we just said that. Matt Elam used to play for the Ravens. Marquette King used to be a punter for the Raiders. A lot of big-name guys that come out. I want to talk about those games real fast. The Vegas Vipers lost 20-22 to the Arlington Rednecks. Renegades. I don't know why Rednecks. I see Roughnecks and Renegades. That's why I said Rednecks. Houston Roughnecks put on a clinic and winning 33-12 over the Orlando Guardians, and the St. Louis Battlehawks won in the last minute, 29. Scored 15 points in that game to win 18-15. And DC Defenders also won 22-18 to the Seattle Sea Dragons. Looking at this week, we have the Battlehawks and the Sea Dragons playing on Fox. We've got the Defenders versus the Vipers, the Brahmas versus the Guardians on ESPN, and the Renegades and Roughnecks playing on ESPN2. The Rock has dubbed this league the League of Second Chances. I agree with that. I want to ask you guys real quick while we have about 3-ish to 4-ish minutes left. Who's your team? Who are you taking? I know you and I have talked about this. I'm going to stick with DC Defenders. I know that Christian, I think, is going with the Battlehawks. Yeah. I don't blame him. That's almost my pick. But I'm going with DC because they're the team that I think won it last time. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give it to them. But who you got? Who you got?
Give me a week.
I'll give you a week because you didn't have a week. Yeah, because I'll give you a week. That's what I said last week for us. So I'll give you one more week.
We give Jamar a week, and I picked it in a 30-minute.
He did. He picked it like instantly in the first show, and I was like,
colors. Is it the colors?
It is the colors. So my favorite color is yellow, and so I'm gonna be a San Antonio Brahmas guy. I like him. We're 0-1 on the season. Our starting quarterback is Jack Cohn from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
We're looking to make a push. We're looking to make a push at something. I don't know what the postseason looks like for the XFL or anything like that.
We benched our starting quarterback. Paxton Lynch is the only quarterback to be benched in 4 different leagues.
That's funny. That's funny.
I like the XFL though. That's what I was kind of talking about when I was talking about not being able to watch the NBA. I mean,
right. You were watching that.
XFL, it's interesting, and I love the fact that the scoring and the way that
the onside kicks are probably coming to the NFL.
That the 4th and 15 rule.
Yeah, I think that's coming. I think that's coming to the NFL.
It'd be nice
because they've been talking about it.
How do y'all like the kickoffs where the two teams have to stand? I think it's like maybe 5 or 10 yards apart, and then the kicker kicks it from the 40,
20 yards on it.
Well, yeah, but it cuts down on high speed contact.
Yeah, it does. It does. So they're trying to stop the wedge block and all that.
Did you see that? Did you see that? They stand about 5 yards apart. The kicker from the 40, the original kick, he kicks it. Both teams stay still until the kick returner catches it. And as he catches it, they go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they can move.
So high-speed contact.
I think that's interesting. And we're going to talk more and more about the XFL throughout all our time. Right now, obviously, we got a bunch of different stuff that we're segmenting through. And as stuff is starting to let off, we're going to bring some more stuff in that. But I want to take a chance to mention that you can find us on at APSU Crunchtime for Twitter and Instagram. That is at APSU Crunchtime. Talk to us on there and answer our questions that we ask throughout the week, and join us as we do live videos and show you what's going on when we set up the show and everything else. Wanted to take a big thank you to thank Steve Sawyer, David Ellison, Doc V for letting us use these studios in here, Trey Whiteout as well, Christian Hunt for being able to help us out for our GAs. Thank you guys as well for being here.
And a quick shout out to Christian for filling the seat.
Absolutely. Christian did a great job. And we'll see we will see more of him possibly as a fill-in for all of us as well.
Busy as I am, probably.
All of us are. Yeah, all of us are pretty great.
I know I'm going to be missing a couple Wednesdays coming up, so his seat.
Right, and we've been getting a lot of more views. So as always, want to thank everybody for listening in and joining us each week in and week out. We will see you next time for Crunch Time for another great episode.